How we doing, folks? Doug Royce. Yeah, baby. How you doing? It's me. I'm back. I'm here. I'm still black. You know it. Hey, that's where it's at. I'm just joking. All right. So right now, I want to get in some news. I wanted to kind of peruse and tell you we're brought to you by TWID. TWID, that's what I do. It's what I do. Tell the news, share. It's all there. It's TWIDware. Go to twidware.com and get 10% off all purchases. Listen, they're about to do a skincare lineup. The rollout is going to be amazing. We're going to have the folks that provide the skincare specifically designed for Negro complexions. Oh, yeah. All right. So how's everybody doing? Welcome to the Doug Rice Show, little news hour in the afternoon. I try to keep as relevant as possible. And there's a lot of we're seeing in the news. The weather is lively. Okay, let's take a look and see what we get with some weather. And let me do this too, just to make sure, just to ensure that I'm covering my bases. All right, folks, here's the weather in places. Just to give you a heads up, this is supposed to be, it says Mecca now, 7 hours ago, and it says Kaaba cannot resist. A storm with a wind speed of 270 kilometers per hour, 7 hours ago. How does that look to you? Let me ask you, are you guys able to hear what they're saying? Because it doesn't look as if it is registering. Not that you need any kind of narration. For God's sake, it looks horrible. Look at that. No, if you can't hear them, it's maybe. Wow, this is happening all over the globe, folks. Too. Oh, that's good. You can still hear me. Hopefully, you can still hear me. No matter. That's the weather. That is what is going on, and there is even more to this. There is a lot of weather that is kind of worrying people. You'll hear it now. So let me play it for you so you can hear exactly what was said that way.
أمطار ملك تصوير بالتلفزيون لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله أمطار ملك 1444 برودي علينا برودي.
Let me to say, folks, I'm going to be taking that a little bit personally. If I'm trying to worship God, supposedly Almighty, and it's coming down in buckets like that, I might have to reinvestigate what's happening. That seems to be happening everywhere in Mecca, in Kaaba. It's kind of crazy. Here's 12 hours ago. Listen.
لا إله إلا الله إن شاء الله إني أعدي قبل تصل الطريق.
Saudi Arabia's Mecca, home to Islam's holiest sites, has seen extreme storms and rain that affected pilgrims, shuttered schools, and caused chaotic scenes. Some videos showed pilgrims who were doing the tawaf, circling the Kaaba, getting soaked and slipping on the floor as heavy rains thrashed and carried objects around. The rare scenes were unfolding at the giant black cube towards which all Muslims pray. This terrible flood reminds us of an event recorded in the Bible. That's right. That's what you're thinking about. It was a great flood, and we are wondering.
No, that's not what I was thinking about. Trying to read my mind. I wasn't thinking about a great flood. I was just thinking about the plagues on Egypt, but not a great flood. Anyway.
That why did God choose to destroy the world of Noah's day in a cataclysmic flood? Both the 2023 flood and the Noah flood make people extremely scared. Is God pouring punishment and warning people? In this fear, I hope you can pray to God. Please join me in communion by leaving a prayer below in the comments section.
Yeah, I'm not going to be praying like that or with her. But, I understand your sentiment.
God will listen to you. I know we, who believe in God, all have memories of Noah's flood. And to prove my statement, I will try to ask you a question. In the story of Noah's flood,
I don't answer questions. Let me just first say that I've never been accustomed to answering questions. I thought you had something of import to say, but hey, just had a 13 seconds ago.
What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NY Prepper. It is Wednesday, November 29th, 2023, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 1:26 p.m. Eastern Time here.
Hey, listen, guys. For those of you that subscribe to the Doug Rice Show, find this guy. His name is New York Prepper. He is an amazing guy. I mean that. He's got something. He's a Zionist, if you will. I'm sure, but he's on top of things. So I'm going to put his link in chat for you. This is a link to this particular video. But this guy is pretty good, and this just a few seconds ago. So let's check this out.
In the United States, and we have some very concerning information coming out from China and here in the U.S. and also the Netherlands. Apparently, this mysterious pneumonia that's affecting kids is now spreading, and cases are surging. So apparently, DC area hospitals are reporting an uptick in sick visits. Fox 5 DC has learned that hospitals, emergency rooms, urgent care locations, and clinics are reportedly seeing an uptick in sick visits. And childhood pneumonia cases are surging in the Netherlands. A health agency in the country has reported during the week of November 13th to November 19th, there were 103 pneumonia cases in the Netherlands out of every 100,000 children between the ages of 5 and 14. That was an increase from 83 the prior week, according to the Netherlands Institute for Health Services Research. So 20 more cases from November 13th to 19th than the prior week. for kids with pneumonia in the Netherlands. That's very concerning. That's like a 25% increase, okay, or 20% increase in cases.
And I dressed for the occasion in yellow. The desk's matching my shirt. I like that. But this is indicative of what occurred during the pandemic of 2020. I don't know if people remember 2019, 2020. Started off similar to this, but not with children. But it did start off the reports, the escalation of cases. So just watch out when you're getting in folks' faces. I like that.
From mid-November to early November in the Netherlands in childhood pneumonia. That's very, very concerning. And apparently in China, they're now disinfecting schools. And here you can see this Chinese government worker with this spacesuit on and what looks like a Ghostbusters cannon spraying some disinfectant. And here we have a graph showing the increase in pneumonia cases among kids in the Netherlands. You can see this one line here, the blue line with the dots represents 2023. And you can see from like week 39 to week 47 of this year, the number of cases has skyrocketed.
Yeah, folks. Yeah, that's marked. That is marked. That is a marked change, and that's a rise that needs to be paid attention to. Look at that, and the numbers corresponding underneath of the different weeks of the different year of the year, and each week, the 4 red lines indicate the years preceding. So we see that last year they were nowhere near close to 100, 120 cases. In fact, last year, 2022, they had just about 40 or 50 cases, and now they're at about double that this year. So something is happening. Something's going on. Let's not fool ourselves. Hold on.
Okay, so this is very concerning. And look at the last 3 years, 2019, 2021, and 2022. Even during the pandemic, the cases weren't as high as they are now. So get prepared, guys. We could see potentially another pandemic. So if you have kids, make sure that you're giving them everything they need so they don't get sick and that they're eating properly. Their diet is high in vitamin C. They're getting enough rest. And if you can, homeschool. Homeschooling will avoid these types of risks. And we have the leader of Venezuela, Maduro, saying that the U.S. has begun establishing a military base in Guyana that threatens our national security. And China on Sunday told local authorities to increase the number of medical clinics that can handle a surge in respiratory illnesses in the country. Efforts should be made to increase the number of relevant clinics and treatment areas appropriately, extend service hours, and strengthen guarantees of drug supplies, National Health Commission spokesperson Mi Feng told a news conference on Sunday. So China is expanding the number of hospitals that can handle a surge in respiratory illnesses, and they're extending service hours, strengthening guarantees of drug supplies. Guys, you don't do this if it's not something serious, okay? You don't go around in spacesuits and Ghostbuster cannons and start disinfecting schools across your country if there's nothing bad going on. China.
You know, he's got a point. He does have a point, and a point well made. But let me tell you what India is doing in response to China's alerts. Listen to this.
A mysterious infection is spreading in China. Children in some other countries have started falling sick, and India has been put on alert. People are being told to mask up. Several states have asked hospitals and healthcare staff to prepare for the worst. Rajasthan is on alert, so is Karnataka, Gujarat, Haryana, Tamil Nadu, Uttarakhand. This is Uttarakhand. There are 3 districts that share borders with China: Chamoli, Uttarkashi, and Pithogarh. Medical teams have been set up in this state to monitor symptoms of pneumonia and influenza in children. And in Rajasthan, rapid response teams are being formed. The state's health department has also been asked to draw up an action plan, on how it plans to prevent the spread of infection and treat those who fall sick. Tamil Nadu's health department is on alert. It has been asked to step up surveillance of respiratory illnesses. In Puducherry, people have been told to go back to wearing face masks in public places. So what really is happening in China? Children are falling sick. In some cases, classes have been called off. Hospitals are overwhelmed. Some of them, in fact, have set up so-called homework zones. Desks and chairs have been brought in so that students can study while recovering in the hospital. It's a crisis situation, or déjà vu, if you may. Xi Jinping's China is not saying much, but parents in China are extremely worried.
My child's test results show positive in both mycoplasma pneumonia and influenza A. I think her condition is quite complicated. Her dad has been lining up in the hospital for test results. After getting test results, he told me there are still 200 more patients before us.
So what do you got there, folks? What are we looking at here? What is it that we're seeing? And why the pestilence? Why the disease at this moment? Why is that being? Well, a lot of this might be contributed to the floods that they have been suffering from for the last few weeks. The lack of food, lack of medical care, lack of sustenance, and disease is in the air. And now this pneumonia is attacking their children. And as we saw over in China, we saw how it would come here eventually. Somebody's going to get on a plane. Somebody's going to, touch somebody else on the way out. You know what I'm saying? So prepare yourselves, brothers and sisters. Let's see what else they got to say so we don't miss it. Hold on.
The infection has spread to several northern cities, including Beijing, and we have visuals from one of Beijing's children's hospitals. The traffic is busier than usual. You can see parents rushing in their children. The hallways are packed. China is trying to normalize all of this. It is pointing at a seasonal surge of pneumonia.
There is no significant difference between this disease and the mycoplasma pneumonia we have seen before. The severity of the illness also shows no particular changes compared to the past. Treatment follows conventional methods and vast majority are effective.
I got to ask you folks, did he look like he was telling the truth? Did he look like he was a believable representative of China? That's just interesting. He looked as if he was not being honest. I just wanted to.
China's response to the WHO inquiry has been on similar lines. Beijing wants you to believe that the surge in cases is because of simultaneous circulation of pathogens, including influenza. In other words, there is no new virus, there is no new outbreak, there is nothing abnormal about children falling sick in large numbers. Let's hope that's the case. But let's also not forget that the Wuhan virus also began as a mysterious pneumonia. An outbreak that China tried its level best to cover up. Whatever this new infection is, what are the chances that it can spread to other countries? If I could answer this question with a number, I would say 100%. There is no reason to believe that the infection will not jump borders. Every minute there are flights going in and coming out of China. Also, it is holiday season. You have tourists from China traveling around the world. Also, tourists flocking to China. Beijing, in fact, is incentivizing travel. It is allowing citizens of France, Germany, Italy, Malaysia, the Netherlands to travel to China visa-free. Just tell me one thing. Is it merely a coincidence that in the Netherlands, cases of childhood pneumonia are surging as well? Unlike China, the Netherlands believes in some sort of transparency. So we have numbers to show you. Between November 13 and 19, There were 103 pneumonia cases for every 100,000 children aged 5 and 14 in the Netherlands. And the week before, the number was 83. The graph is moving upwards, and it's a case of concern. It's a cause of concern. Also, the numbers are nothing like what the Netherlands is used to seeing during a regular flu season. Just consider this. Last year, during the peak of the flu season, the Netherlands had 58 cases of pneumonia for every 100,000 children. It's almost double already. Again, something is not normal. India has its guards on. Individually also, you must keep your guard on. Who are at risk? In China, and now also in the Netherlands, it is the children who are mostly battling this pneumonia. Remember, most of the young children are also not vaccinated against the Wuhan virus. So if you are a parent to a toddler, if your children are young, here are some of the symptoms you should be looking out for. Fever, chills, loss of appetite, nausea, sneezing, dry cough. Follow the guidelines of your doctor and stay safe.
Well, now, I just don't know what to say about that. What does that look like to you, folks? What does that seem like to you? It seems to me that it's more than the flu. And while that's happening over in China, we've got more things happening in China. Now, this might answer, folks, why they seem to be having a lot of sickness over in China now. I don't know if you understand the correspondence between still water and the proclivity to have airborne diseases as a result of that water, the insects and such spreading that disease. But this could be somehow connected to why they are ill, the children are ill. Here we go. Let's take a listen. I was having technical difficulties. My apologies.
By Monday afternoon, the Belgian government confirmed that the bodies had been found in the west of Belgium, apparently killed in the flood. Residents are posting videos on social media showing cars floating in the water. As well, the residents of the area walking along the streets flooded cars. The Belgian government has reported that about 31,000 people have been forced to leave their homes. Emergency services in the
Yeah, she is speaking English.
have warned residents of the ongoing danger. Authorities are urging residents of the hardest hit areas to stay at home unless absolutely necessary. These rains are notable.
That's all right. You don't need to hear them anyway. They're just telling you what's going on in a very, thick accented way. So probably wouldn't hear them anyway. But this is what's happening over in China, man. And you wonder why pneumonia is now run rampant in their area. Turkey as well. Check out Turkey.
Istanbul, Turkey, November 28, 2023.
son yarım saatte hızlanan hava şartları. Abi geç, durma, geç.
Folks, take note of the date. This was yesterday in Istanbul, Turkey, and they've been getting this for at least a week and a half. The rains in these areas like Mecca, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Italy, good Lord, it's all over what seems to be Gentile nations. I'm just saying, they seem to be a bunch of Gentiles getting their heads handed to them, but let's continue.
Aynı kardeşim, aynı bildiğin gibi işte. Geçmedim oğlum, orada bekliyorum işte.
The Istanbul Metropolitan Municipalities Disaster Coordination Center, or ACOM, has issued a stern warning of an impending storm expected to hit the city starting tonight, with rainfall predicted to begin at 22. The storm will likely escalate during the wee hours of the morning, leaving the city in its grip until 10 tomorrow. This announcement has stirred echoes of the impactful storm that hit the Sarıyer district's Rumeli Feneri neighborhood just 9 days ago, leaving residents on edge. The ACOM data, based on meticulous analysis, suggests that Istanbul will confront a citywide storm starting from tonight. The residents are being strongly advised to take necessary precautions to protect themselves from potential adverse effects of the storm. This looming storm comes on the heels of the cold and rainy weather that has been affecting Istanbul over the weekend. However, according to ACOM, this weather pattern is expected to subside today, only to be replaced by a new low-pressure system rolling in front of the central Mediterranean in the evening.
Ooh.
Now, folks, I don't know about you, but that don't look normal. That happened yesterday, and that's in Turkey. Now, they got something else for you I want to see. What's happening in New York City. They've got a lot of weather happening out there as well. And they got something called the lake effect. Not really, I don't know if you're familiar with the lake effect, but it's out there, and hopefully I can get it here. Hopefully, if not, well, I guess I've screwed up, but no. Hold on one sec. Let me pull up the lake effect. Or did I lose it? I may have lost it. Either way, that's in Turkey yesterday. That is in Turkey yesterday. Amazing. Wow. All right. Check this out.
There's been a few days of snowy weather in the Quad Cities, but that's not where this video is from. This is from Western New York, where lake effect snow can add up to several feet if the conditions are right. Yesterday, it was only a couple of feet of snow, but it was still more than many people expected. And I know, growing up in Wisconsin, that lake effect, goodness. We don't have to deal with that. There's no Mississippi River effect.
Thank goodness. Not on that.
I like the way they're very blasé about the fact that their world is coming to an end.
China's denying.
A lot of folks I look at, a lot of folks that I dig, and I was also going to share with you Nate, the prepper, but what's this we got? Hold on. This is the Saudi desert. It says that Incredible, huge hailstorm and flood turned Saudi desert into White River. That's what we're looking at.
Saudi Arabia, a country known for its arid and desert climate, has witnessed a rare phenomenon of hail and flood that turned parts of its landscape into a white and flooded river. According to the Saudi press agency ST, the hail and rain storm hit several regions of the kingdom, including Riyadh, Qasim, and the eastern province. The storm caused flash floods, power outages, and traffic disruptions in some areas. The most striking scene was captured in the Rub's Al-Khali Desert, also known as the Empty Quarter, which is the largest contiguous sand desert in the world. The desert, which covers about a quarter of the Arabian Peninsula, was covered with water and turned into a vast lake. The water level reached up to 30 centimeters in some places, creating a rare sight of water flowing in the desert. The hail and flood also created a contrast between the white and green colors of the desert. The hailstones, which ranged from the size of a pea to a golf ball.
Now, look at that. That is snow in the desert. Are we in the last days? I mean, let me ask you again. I can ask in different ways. I'm looking at ice, sleet, snow, rain, you can name it, whatever you can. I mean, they're camels running around in the desert and stuff, but they're reporting it as if everything is just everything. Wow, what an interesting development. Let's continue. I want to hear it.
Covered the sand dunes and vegetation with a layer of ice. The green plants, which sprouted after the previous rainfall in March, added a touch of life to the otherwise barren landscape. The hail and flood phenomenon was attributed to a low-pressure system that moved from the Mediterranean Sea to the Arabian Peninsula, bringing cold and moist air to the region. The system interacted with the warm and dry air over the desert, creating instability and thunderstorms.
That ended abruptly, but I do have something else what I found just now. Hold on, this is good. This is Russia again, and this is an hour ago.
Russia. An exceptionally strong storm, with violent winds and intense snowfall, has hit southern Russia and the occupied regions of Ukraine, leaving about 2 million people without electricity. These extreme weather conditions have affected combat on the front lines, and Ukraine fears that Moscow will attack the country's power grids during the winter. This storm, dubbed the storm of the century by Russian media, has harshly hit the annexed region of Crimea and various Ukrainian areas occupied by Russia, such as Donetsk, Lugansk, and Zaporizhia. At least 4 lives have been reported lost due to the weather conditions, and nearly 2 million people would be without electricity, as detailed by authorities on November 27th and 28th. Low temperatures are affecting the situation on the front lines, where soldiers face extreme conditions and severe difficulties in movement. Heavy snowfall is covering a significant part of Ukraine, forcing the closure of 14 highways and leaving about 2,000 localities in 16 regions without electricity. Amid panic in the city, it is now in a state of emergency as seas overflowed, streets turned into rivers, and, worse still, are without electrical supply. The city is buried under blizzards, and the snow continues to fall, creating a surprising but problematic scene. A low atmospheric pressure is expected, and snowstorms are forecasted to continue in Moscow, probably until November 30th, with freezing conditions near 0 degrees. I hope this information has been helpful. Subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching.
Wow, that is amazing. So just to give you a heads up, folks, they are not reporting what you are seeing in the news. They are not typically reporting the fact that the weather is losing its mind globally. But I, for one, think that it's important that we keep you as informed as possible. Now, I do have a little bit of a news break for you. I got a little update on one of our most favorite people. Let me have you take a look at it here, just to make sure you get a nice glimpse of it. So tell me about this, folks. Here you go. Our most favorite officer on the planet, Derek Chauvin, convicted in the George Floyd death. He is in stable condition and he is doing well. I thought I would be the first to tell. He did not, in fact, expire. And an attorney representing Mr. Chauvin, the Minneapolis police officer, convicted again in the 2020 murder of George Floyd, where he put his knee on the brother's neck until he suffocated and died, while he called for his mother and he cried. He got stabbed in prison and he lived. Good for him. So it says that his health is decent and improving. And that is about as much about him that is decent and improving as I can see. So I wanted to share that with you as well. That is news for Negroes to peruse. I thought you might find that at least somewhat comforting that Mr. Chauvin, whatever his name is doing well. All right, so very interesting, this Trump situation. You know, this guy, I mean, take a look at it, man. The guy seems a bit disturbed. I don't know. He seems like he's a little bit disturbed. He seems like he's got a lot on his mind. And it seems like they're on his behind. He's got a fear of going to jail that could keep him from the presidency in the 2024 election. Let me just say this, something that he said. He's said, at least I've read, that he is determined to be inserted into the Oval Office before the election, before January 2024. What I'm trying to tell you is, you look at that face. That face isn't one that's not determined not to go to jail. He will light the world on fire, tell on everyone that he used to admire. He will do everything he can to keep his can out of the can. And please understand that he's not the man. Okay, there we go. This is the Doug Rice Show. A little bit of news there for you to peruse there. And as I do this, I'd like you, if you don't mind, to take a look below if you're so inclined. There is some wording running line to line, and it is a way you can support this effort. And I do hope that you do so. Support the Doug Rice Show. It is worth supporting. Believe me, I know. And thank you for looking at the Doug Rice Show. All right, so There's a little bit more news, a little bit more weather, a little bit more this. Have I shown you? I think I have not shown you or shown off, as I will right now, the new digs. Let me make the screen big. There we go, buddy. Hey, that is the DougWrightShow.com. That is my website. Thank you so much to TWID, who sponsors this show and made that happen. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat so that you can take a look at that. What a nice little thing. I like that, you know. I do. And I got to say, a lot of love was put into this. So I always recommend that you go take a look at my blog because, you know, it's one of my little favorites. I love that I write. I love the beauty of America's End. I could read that all night. I won't read it to you, but I could if I wanted to. So go to the website and I got my latest videos up there. I think, you know, nice little way that I can share. And again, my Dougisms, I'll be updating those. You guys know about my Dougisms, I'm sure. And a way to contact me. And Nike, if you need to contact me, I do have a phone number as well, 480-878-0808. What else do I have before it gets too late? I got my press release. If you haven't seen my press release, take a look at my press release. I like what Jackson News reported about Doug Rice. I like that. That was pretty nice. So that is the DougWrightShow.com. It is not fancy. It's there for presence. And I really hope you guys take a look at it. Thank you. So, all right. So that's a little bit about me there. Let me make sure I got this here. Hold on, folks. Make sure, okay? So that is about me. And have I shown you my, I think I've shown you. Maybe I haven't. I'm going to show it anyway. This is shameless plug day. So this is my YouTube channel. And if you manage to get over there, you're going to see that I have quite a list of shows that I've done. Be sure you haven't missed not a single one. All right, there we go. That's a little bit of plugging of the Doug Rice Show, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I also still have some weather for you to see. Oh, that was nice, wasn't it? Okay, so here's some more weather. Now, this is a tsunami in Turkey. That's what this is. And we're going to do everything we can to get down to square business. This is just a few days ago. Listen to this.
Oğlum var ya.
Major storm hit the Crimean Peninsula on Sunday, leaving around 500,000 residents without power. Greek meteorologists call the powerful storm Bettina. The power outage has left the residents of major cities in Crimea under darkness. Due to the bad weather conditions, the power grid got damaged, the regional head's energy advisor confirmed. The city of Sevastopol, as well as the districts of Sek, Krasnogvardeysky, and Krasnoperekopsky, have all been impacted by the power outage as per reports. According to preliminary reports, nobody has been hurt, but many people living on the peninsula have been negatively impacted by the loss of energy. Meanwhile, the videos of the storm affecting the residents have been widely circulating on the internet.
Ой, вышел с берегов, трасса полностью залита, в которой вообще нет пляжа. Вот, видите, это море, сплошное море. Хотя
Almost 500,000 people in occupied Crimea have been left without electricity after a storm hit the peninsula. The authorities have begun restoration work to restore the electricity supply to reduce the impact of the storm Bettina. The authorities in Crimea are assessing the damage. The agencies are trying to coordinate the actions of various services and accelerate the restoration of the power supply to reduce the burden on residents, according to local media.
So let me give you a little read here because it says a major storm hit the Crimean Peninsula on Sunday, leaving around 500,000 residents without powers. Greek meteorologists call the powerful storm Bettina, while in Turkey, torrential rain started around 4 a.m. yesterday, affected many districts of the city in the western province of Izmir. The city overflows in the water merged with the pavement. Some of the fallen trees in many parts of the city fell on cars, and some blocked the roads, as well as many vehicles were destroyed. It says that the tsunami in Crimea and Turkey, the winds here reached 285 kilometers an hour and destroyed buildings in a single day, folks. So be sure to like, subscribe, and share as we take a look at weather everywhere. You're going to like this. Here we go.
О, колоду. Нормально, конечно, убило бы нахер кого-то. Бля, вот на. Это все как начало.
While in Turkey, torrential rain, which started around 4 p.m. yesterday in Istanbul, affected many districts of the city. The roof of a building in Kaitani was blown off by the storm, which increased in intensity. People walking in Taksim Square had difficulty walking due to the storm, while the waves rose meters high on coast, especially on coast of Üsküdar. The storm that hit the Silivri district of Istanbul in the early hours of the morning had a negative impact on life, as the waves rose several meters into the sea. Workplaces on the beach were flooded, trees were uprooted by the storm. In the western province of Izmir, the sea overflowed and the water merged with the pavement. Citizens stranded in the flooded sea were rescued by the police. The rain, which intensified overnight in the southern province of Antalya, also flooded canals and stranded vehicles on the roads. Two boats sank inside a tourist resort in Antalya Manavgat district. The storm also affected the city. Some of the fallen trees in many parts of the city fell on cars and some blocked the roads. As a result, many vehicles were damaged.
Okay, so we can see by this that just a couple of days ago, and it's really not being reported commonly anywhere. I've got some other stuff for you that might be of interest. And I just saw here where flooding in, I guess it was in New York City, happened just a few days ago. Catastrophic floods hitting nations all over the world. Let me see if I can find something a little bit more. What's this in Turkey? Let's see. I just want to.
An incredibly strong tornado hit the city of Dalaman in Magla province. In a matter of minutes, the sky turned black. Gusts of wind tore down banners and billboards.
Now, keep in mind, folks, this was 4 days ago, and this is a tornado hitting in Dalaman, Mugla, and a hailstorm in Turkey.
There was also hail on the outskirts of the city. Residents hid from the tornado in their homes. Dozens of downed trees and poles were reported. There were even reports of damaged buildings at the epicenter of events. Fortunately, there were no casualties.
Now, there you saw Turkey and Dalaman and Mugla. Here is Brazil. Okay, and while I can do without the sad, flowery music, that being in Brazil just a few days ago, check out Iraq. This is Iraq 6 days ago.
Look at the red car. Hear people tell him to come back. Don't walk on top of the flood. But he did not listen to the advice and continued on his way. Here the water seemed to surround him. Here he was completely trapped.
يا رب سلم يا الله يا رب سلم يا الله. الدفاع المدني إذا تسمعني الدفاع المدني.
Here someone calls civil defense.
عالية شافوا.
And here the rescue truck is coming. Finally, the person was saved.
هذا بالحاج عيد ضحكوا سبحان الله نظام مو طبيعي ده يحصل سوالف يفتر الموت.
In a tragic turn of events, northwestern Iraq is grappling with the aftermath of a heavy wave of rain that began at dawn yesterday, escalating into torrents in various areas. The deluge, exacerbated by water surging in from Syria, has left a trail of destruction in its wake, submerging large areas, including the Al-Shirkat district and surrounding villages. Health authorities and local administration in Salah al-Din Governorate have reported a grim toll, with approximately 10 lives lost and others missing. The floods have also wreaked havoc on more than 3,000 homes, leading to widespread displacement. Additionally, 2 vital bridges in Mosul have been rendered inoperative due to the overwhelming force of the floods.
السلام عليكم. مناشدة إلى بلدية الموصل. حي البلديات. خالف مطعم بيت الطين. حي البلديات اللي هو من المناطق الراقية.
One casualty of the inclement weather is the Al-Sukkar Bridge in Acer Mosul, which suffered partial collapses, rendering it impassable. The catastrophic flooding extends beyond urban areas, reaching camps for displaced people who have not returned home despite the liberation of their areas 2 years ago. The Hammam al-Alil camp in Mosul is now completely submerged, prompting displaced residents to issue a distress call to the federal government and humanitarian organizations for urgent assistance.
All right, so there we see Iraq is sinking. This was 6 days ago. Now let's take a look at Australia 7 days ago. Australia.
Intense storms carrying hail and wind struck several areas in Queensland on November 10th, causing chaos and significant damage to residents. Many trees were uprooted, and cars parked by the roadside were almost entirely destroyed due to the unprecedented size of the hailstones. Several individual hailstones were as large as tennis balls. Preliminary reports indicate that a woman died after being hit by a falling tree during the storm in the Lockery Valley. It is very dangerous to go outside during such severe weather. Meteorologists have warned of a high risk to human life when active under the natural disasters conditions. Government agencies have also advised people to stay indoors, but many still risked going outside to record videos. The streets, blanketed by rain, worsened the scene with over 80,000 insurance claims already submitted. The damage is estimated to be close to 700 million Australian dollars. In just a few minutes, the heavy rain caused significant consequences. Many roofs were destroyed by the force of the rain. Window panes were also shattered by large hailstones, sending glass fragments everywhere. Numerous international flights were canceled for safety, and domestic flights were delayed by at least 3 hours from originally scheduled time. The Australian Bureau of Meteorology issued storm warnings over wide areas, forecasting storms accompanied by heavy rain in the north and east. In the south of Brisbane City, hail combined with strong winds reaching up to 60 kilometers an hour caused severe property damage, with many houses and cars destroyed. This natural disaster also led to widespread power outages, leaving thousands of residents in darkness. Eateries and outdoor recreational areas had to close due to the danger posed by falling giant hailstones. Shared videos on the internet show the extensive damage caused by the hail. Many cars on the road, unable to find shelter in time, suffered shattered windshields as disaster struck. A young couple was trapped while traveling, as seen in the large hailstones that shattered their car windows. A couple tried to protect each other while waiting for the rescue team. In the face of natural disasters, it is crucial to quickly find a safe place to shelter and protect oneself. It's not advisable to go out in such conditions. In West Sydney, hailstones the size of tennis balls fell on the roofs and cars. while those the size of golf balls hit the city suburbs. The frequency of hail events seems to be increasing in Australia. For instance, in 2018 and 2021, storms brought huge hailstones, causing billion-dollar damages. Is this an indication of global warming? Why are natural disasters occurring simultaneously in many countries worldwide? As these disasters worsen, what can we do to help Earth recover from nature's wrath? Please leave your comments below for discussion. Revisiting the hailstorm on November 10th, which is considered one of the worst in Australia's history, it covered about 5 kilometers of agricultural area, utterly devastating the crops.
All right, folks, so that is Australia. And the reason I wanted to stick a little bit there, not just doing research, but this isn't generally reported. This is not being reported. You know, you see, I watch all the news I can. I watched WION, I watched Al Jazeera, I watch MSNBC, I'll watch it all. I try to get as much as I can, but what I've noticed is that they're keeping these kind of weather actions and activities away from the American public. Now, I want to switch gears just a little bit away from weather, just long enough to fit in an update from NY Prepper. Hold on one sec, and I'm going to start it from the beginning. Now, if you're not familiar with NY Prepper, the guy is really, really good. He really does a good job explaining the latest news, troop movements. I put the link to him right there. I want you to take a listen to this guy. Listen to what he has to say about the pandemic, all of that good stuff, and not pandemic, the pneumonia outbreak in China.
What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NY Prepper. It is Wednesday, November 29th, 2023, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 1:26 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some very concerning information coming out from China and here in the U.S. and also the Netherlands. Apparently, this mysterious pneumonia that's affecting kids is now spreading and cases are surging. So apparently, DC area hospitals are reporting an uptick in sick visits. Fox 5 DC has learned that hospitals, emergency rooms, urgent care locations, and clinics are reportedly seeing an uptick in sick visits, and childhood pneumonia cases are surging in the Netherlands. A health agency in the country has reported during the week of November 13th to November 19th, there were 103 pneumonia cases in the Netherlands out of every 100,000 children between the ages of 5 and 14. That was an increase from 83 the prior week, according to the Netherlands Institute for Health Services Research. So 20 more cases from November 13th to 19th than the prior week for kids with pneumonia in the Netherlands. That's very concerning. That's like a 25% increase.
Again, folks, this guy, NY Prepper, is one that I recommend highly. The reason I do is primarily he's usually got the latest updates, keeps you up to date. Just check him out, NY Prepper. He's a good dude. I think he's got the same kind of views as you would typically find in, generally any of the folks that support Israel, but still, he brings out some pretty good facts. Now, I don't know if you knew about Libya, but Libya is also in the news here. I did not see that. Bear with me one sec while I bring this to your attention. Even in Libya, folks, this was 14 hours ago. It says horrific floods in Libya, bodies everywhere, most haunting scene. 14 hours ago from Weather in News.
In northeast Libya, a consequence of a terrifying heavy rainfall. Over 5,000 lives were swept away forever by fierce floodwaters, while the fate of another 10,000 missing people remains a mystery. Derna, a city in the east, was engulfed in this disaster, suffering the heaviest losses. Around 6,000 residents from around this area are still missing, leaving behind a space filled with debris and car wrecks washed ashore. High-rise apartment buildings, once thought to be immune to flooding, were not spared from nature's wrath. A total of 891 buildings were completely destroyed, damaging more than 600 others. It was a scene of devastation, where hope and despair intermingle, marking one of the greatest tragedies in Libya's history. Rescue operations were deployed using heavy machinery, including bulldozers, to assist in the relief efforts in Derna and surrounding cities. However, the extent of the devastation, particularly to the roads, made accessing the affected areas challenging. Torrential rains with high water volumes caused severe flooding in Algeria, inflicting significant damage, especially in the central and eastern regions of the country on May 24th, affecting 9 provinces, including Algiers, Blida, Tebessa, La Bogozi, Tipasa, Bourmaids, El Tarf, Batna, and Guelma. Some of the worst flooding was reported in the province of Tipasa, where extreme weather event caused considerable damage. Homes were destroyed or damaged, vehicles were swept away on the roads, and there was serious disruption to transportation. The province of Tipasa faced some of the most severe consequences of the flooding. Roads, vehicles, and buildings were destroyed or damaged, leaving a trail of destruction. Unfortunately, a young person lost their life when a wall collapsed due to the force of the floodwaters. Civil protection teams were deployed to carry out various intervention measures, including rescue and evacuation of individuals from affected areas. In the heart of Morocco's Al Hawza region, the commune of Moulay Baram faced a formidable challenge from nature. A heavy rainstorm transformed into a fierce flood, sweeping away everything in its path. The terrifying strength of the floodwaters spared nothing, sweeping away 3 cars as if they were mere toys in the raging waters. This rainstorm not only brought water, but also robbed the local farmers of their labor as it swept through the key areas like Akwabin, Moulay Ibrahim, and Asni, destroying the fruits as they painstakingly nurtured.
Now that is horrible. That's the flood. And they've got a bunch of stuff here on Libya. Let me fast forward a little bit.
The collapse of key bridges, such as the one over the Montepuez River on the highway in Cabo Delgado, severed communication and access to the most severely affected areas, making the provision of services and support challenging. Over 10,200 homes were damaged or destroyed, including 2,500 completely demolished homes, and at least 47 schools were affected, marking the devastating impact of the disaster.
Devastating stuff we are seeing, excuse me, over in Libya, of all places, Libya. I'm going to just pause for the cause for a moment, let you know that we are coming to you, sponsored by TWID sportswear, skincare, TWID gear. It's all there. TWID, a brand. That's what I do. Now, there's some more news that I'd like to bring to your attention while I'm on the subject. Found some interesting stuff. Don't know if you've heard some of it yet. Let's take a look at this. We got, excuse me, we got the lawsuit. They're seeking $5 million for the former delivery driver, the young black gentleman who was chased down the street by a couple of white supremacists that were in their homes, should have been minding their business, but upon sight of a black face in their neighborhood, these two morons, who I understand it did no time, I don't think they were charged with a crime, and this individual, DeMontario Gibson, well, you know, it's going to be an interesting outcome. I think he's going to get paid. I think he's going to get paid. I think that's not going to, I think that's how this is going to get played. Black former delivery driver in Mississippi says 2 white men shot into his work van and then pursued him in a high-speed chase last year. Has filed a new lawsuit against the men and his former employee, FedEx. I understand FedEx fired him, if I believe that is right, or was that the guy with the hair? No, it was one of them, right? This is the second civil lawsuit on behalf of DeMontario Gibson, and it seeks at least $5 million. He wants $5 million. Men were tried for attempted murder and the other charges, but a judge declared a mistrial. The judge declared a mistrial for the white males. Wasn't that nice of him? Isn't that a nice judge? I like judges like that. So that's in the news. You know, I hope he gets paid. I really do, because he sure did get played. And what else do we have in the news, folks? Again, if you like this, please like, subscribe, and you know, subscribe to this live. I got something else for you I think you might find a bit interesting. Here we go, right, y'all? Let's take a look. I'm getting good at this, huh? All right, here we go. So we got Shawnee East student charged with felony after what? Racist attack on black student. This dated today, 12/40, not too long ago. So what do we got for you? Let's see if I can make it a little bigger. Can I make it bigger? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. So a white male Shawnee Mission East High School student, a high school student, has been charged with felony aggravated battery after hurling a racist slur while beating a black female student in a school hallway. Okay. The 15-year-old male charged in Johnson County District Court as a juvenile for causing bodily harm in the attack against a black sophomore, which was caught on video, speaking protests and rattling the community. The hearing has been sparking protests and rattling its way over there. And set for wow. What is it that they're sending their children on? What is it? Are the children unguided missiles? Are these kids unguided missiles that they send to the schools now, just, unleashed on the general public, on your children that you mysteriously continue to allow going to these public schools? I'm trying to figure it out. I mean, out of the blue, maybe he didn't like the look of her. Maybe he just didn't like her. Maybe she rejected him. Maybe, who knows? But I think these are just the beginning of the blows. I do. I keep telling people, I keep reminding people that pre-war, pre-Nazi Germany, when they were getting into the thick of things and really getting into the weeds, they were kind of taking root into the fabric of German society. I know that there were one or two Jews, two Ashkenazi imposters, two individuals that hail from the Ukraine. And I found out, folks, as I might be saying, that the Prince of Ukraine was basically Russian. Basically, the Russians have been in war with the Ashkenazis for centuries, ever since they conquered them as a country, as Khazaria. I didn't realize that. And let me tell you why I know that's important. I know it's real. Because as much as Ukraine complains and as much as Russia is going insane, Ukraine was a bustling town when Russia was wasn't even around. And I think you might check my math on that. That's kind of interesting. You could almost laugh on that because Russia is attacking Ukraine, claiming they need to annex Ukraine to bring it into Russia. But when in historical fact, Ukraine was a more established township or city than Russia was. It developed before Russia. I thought I'd hand you that. That one is free. But hey, no need to listen to me. Check my math and do the work yourself. I'm about out of here, folks. I think I've done as much as I can. I've got to run. I want to do more narrative and more narration for you guys in the Negro Nation, but my mind is kind of divided. It's settled. It's not where it needs to be, just as it needs to be. Trust me. So what I will, do is remedy that, hopefully shortly too, because trepidations and inclinations, and it's an interesting, it's a torrid tale. Anyway, all right, folks, I gotta go. I do thank you for showing up to the show. Do you like what I do? Do you really? Well, listen, you can show me. You don't have to be touchy-feely. Just look down below, during the show, and you'll see the ticker ticking just so. That ticker is there for just not effect. It's also there so that I may collect. And if you don't mind, you might find, $, the Doug Rice Show works just fine. Seriously, I need it. Please support this show. If you don't like the show, well, then I guess I'll go. But if I do go, I'll come back because that's just how I am. I'm black. All right. I did it. All right, folks, I will be out of here. You guys like, subscribe, share, and thank you. Oh, yeah, one more thing. Get that goddamn grin off your faces. That's what I do. I love it. It'll come together. Relax.